Yo, what's going on YouTube? At GZTV back with another video, and in this video we are going to be reviewing the original Rambo movie. It's taken me quite a while to come around and watch this movie. I saw it was an hour and a half, and I was like, you know what, I need a quick little movie to watch for the channel, and I found First Blood, of course. HBO Max, by the way, has been plugging me with all the movies. That's where I've been watching all the movies, pretty much. But yeah, we're going to talk about what happens, critical reception, all that stuff. This is a spoiler review. You know, a lot of YouTubers don't do spoilers and just plainly give their thoughts. But I like to actually talk about the plot and use that to kind of give my thoughts. So yeah, let's get into it. So John Rambo, a Vietnam War veteran, goes to a lake house in search of an old comrade, only to learn from his wife that his friend died of cancer brought on by exposure to Agent Orange during the war, which was like some sort of, it was like a gas, pretty much, yeah. Kind of a little history lesson for us all. And this movie is very interesting, I will say. I mean, I really like the concept of this guy being misunderstood, and I mean, obviously he doesn't take threats lightly. He's a very misunderstood character, and I think that's really cool. It kind of goes away from the common like action tropes a lot, and yeah, I think it's a pretty good movie, honestly. He apologizes for her loss and gives her a photo of the pair and the rest of her unit, Baker team. Continuing his travels, Rambo reaches the town of Hope, Washington. The sheriff, Will Teasel, heads him off and drives him to the outskirts of town, explaining that he considers it his job to keep drifters out of Hope. Like, it's not fucking illegal to walk through a town. Like, this whole fucking movie, it's crazy. The whole big parts of this movie started because of a dumb police officer that doesn't mind his own business. Neglecting the sheriff's warning, Rambo tries to return to Hope. He's like, alright, this guy's ridiculous. Enraged, Teasel arrests Rambo and charges of vagrancy, resisting arrest, and possessing a concealed knife. And I mean, when everyone else finds out that this is why he arrested Rambo, they fucking laugh at him. Like, seriously, dude? This is what... Like, later on in the movie, of course, like... especially his old, like... one of his old soldiers, one of his old comrades, once he tells him why he arrested Rambo, it's like, oh, you're a fucking idiot. Why'd you arrest him for that? Led by the sadistic Chief Deputy Art Galt, Teasel's officers abuse Rambo, triggering flashbacks of the torture he endured in Vietnam. You really feel bad for this guy. Like, you really do. It's one of the first 80s action films where I've actually, like, felt bad for the main character for some reason. When they try to dry shave him with a straight razor, Rambo snapped. It's like, he's done. He can't deal with this any longer. He fights his way out of the station, regains his knife, steals a motorcycle, and flees into the woods. And for some reason, 80s action movies really liked the concept of the woods. They had the Predator. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of jungle operations and stuff in certain action movies as well. Teasel organizes a search party with automatic weapons, dogs, and a helicopter. It's really that fucking serious. He fought back and escaped, but you arrest him for vagrancy, and yeah, like, what? Holy shit, what the hell? Defying Teasel's orders, Galt attempts to shoot Rambo from the helicopter. They don't want him dead, they just want him to face consequences in jail. Cornered on a high cliff, Rambo leaps into a tree, injuring his right arm. He had to make the jump. That's like the action trope. With Galt still shooting at him, Rambo throws a rock at the helicopter, breaking its windshield and causing the pilot to briefly lose control. Losing his balance, Galt falls to his death on the jagged rocks below. And someone said he killed a police officer. No, not really, actually. He threw a rock at a helicopter and the guy fell. He didn't actually kill him, which is crazy. It kind of adds to this concept, you know? Rambo tries to surrender to Teasel, saying that Galt's death was an accident and that he wants no more trouble, but the officers shoot at him and he flees. Teasel swears revenge. Yeah, you kind of just poked the bear there. I'm not really sure why you would do that. Yeah, do you even know who Sylvester Stallone is? And do you even know who John Rambo is? With guerrilla tactics, Rambo non-lethally subdues all the deputies using booby traps and his bare hands. He doesn't want to kill anybody. Like, he's done doing that. He served time in a war. Rambo holds a knife to Teasel's throat. He threatens war if Teasel does not give up the pursuit before retreating further into the woods. He's sending a message. He's like, I'm a good guy, but if you push me, things are going to get pretty scary for you guys, you know? He has a lot of potential. Or not potentially. Like, who knows what he could do to you. He won the Green Beret. He won a bunch of Medals of Honor. The Washington State Patrol and Washington National Guard are brought in to assist Teasel, along with Rambo's mentor and former commanding officer, Colonel Sam Troutman, who knows all about him, understands. He just knows him, you know. Troutman advises that Rambo should be allowed to escape to the next town in order to defuse the situation, then be permitted to surrender peacefully later, and the officers think this is, like, ridiculous, which I guess it is kind of ridiculous, but, yeah. Confident that Rambo is hopelessly outnumbered, Teasel refuses. He's literally outnumbered. Like, if they charge at him, they can get him, even though that's probably wrong. That's what he's thinking. He allows Troutman to contact Rambo and try to persuade him to give him up, so they don't have to actually go out there and tell him to give himself up. Rambo recognizes Troutman but refuses to come in, condemning Teasel and his deputies for their abuse. He's like, yeah, I just can't do it, you know. They abused me in jail. Like, he's not supposed to be like a slave. He's supposed to be a prisoner and learn from his actions. At the entrance of an abandoned mine, a National Guard detachment corners Rambo. Ignoring Teasel's instructions to wait for his arrival, the guardsmen fire a rocket launcher, collapsing the entrance and seemingly killing Rambo. They think they killed him. They think they won the day. They're celebrating all that stuff. But no. Teasel berates the soldiers for their disobedience and demands that their superior, Clinton Morgan, dig Rambo's body out. So they think the situation is over. They think it's defused. They're going to dig up the mine and see if they can find Rambo. Rambo goes deeper into the rat-infested mine. I don't know. I mean, he's destroying all these people, but are rats, like, scaring him? I don't know. That's kind of weird. I don't know. He finds a way out, hijacks an army supply truck carrying an M60 machine gun and ammunition, and returns to town to cause as much damage as possible out of revenge against the officers. And he's not planning on killing anybody, he just wants to wreak havoc on their town. In an effort to distract the officers, Rambo blows up a gas station, shoots out most of the town's power, and destroys a sporting goods store close to the police station. He's destroying everything in sight. He's finding every place in this town and just lighting it up. Troutman, understanding that the sheriff is outmatched, tries again to convince Teasel to leave Rambo be, even though he is kind of destroying everything. The sheriff ignores his orders and attempts to locate and kill Rambo. Rambo spots Teasel on the police station's roof and shoots him. Teasel falls through a skylight. I'm not sure if he died or not. As Rambo prepares to kill him, Troutman appears and warns Rambo that he will be killed unless he surrenders, reminding him that he is the last survivors of elite unit. His elite unit's a Green Berets. Like, he needs to keep the legacy going. And, I mean, keeping it going in prison isn't... I mean, that's not great, but you gotta keep the Green Berets alive. Rambo vents about the horrors of war and his traumatic experiences. This is one of the best moments in the entire movie. Watching his friends die in Vietnam, being unable to hold a job due to his PTSD, the nasty treatment he received from his fellow Americans when he came home, and being forgotten by the country that he sacrificed so much for. And this is kind of some good social commentary. The Vietnam War, I mean, and like World War II, that happened like 40 years ago, so it's not like it's completely irrelevant, you know. People still talked about it a lot there. I mean, obviously we still talk about it a lot today in history classes and whatnot, but yeah, this is a really good moment. It's a good social commentary, for sure. He breaks down crying as he recounts how one comrade was killed by a Viet Cong child soldier using a shoeshine box wired with explosives, even feeling like sympathy for those people, like the children that had to go through that situation. You know, he's a good guy. He has good intentions. It's just, he was pushed to the edge and couldn't control himself, you know. After being comforted by Troutman, Rambo surrenders and is taken into federal custody, while Teasdale is taken to a waiting ambulance for transport to the hospital. So, yeah, it all kind of comes around. He surrenders. It's not the happiest ending, but at least he doesn't die or anything like that. So this is a franchise, which is very interesting. Maybe I'll watch some more of the movies in the franchise, but again, like I say in all these videos that are franchises, I usually want to just focus on the original films, and once I kind of get through all of those, then I'll start watching like sequels and trilogies and all that stuff. So let's talk about what people think. People were mixed to positive on this. The 3 lead actors were great in their performances. The film's ending wasn't necessarily great, but it was a very good movie, well-paced and well-acted, not only by Stallone, but also by Crenna and Brian Dennehy, I think, who were the 2 officers, I think. I said it was a good ending. I mean, it was a good ending for the character, because at least he didn't have to go through all this torment, and hopefully they're going to treat him better. Troutman's probably going to help out with that. Although almost all of First Blood is implausible, because it's Stallone on the screen, we'll buy it. It got a 3 out of 4 by Roger Ebert, who is iconic. Rambo is a fierce, agile, hollow-eyed hero. He's portrayed as a tormented, misunderstood, amazingly resourceful victim of the Vietnam War, rather than as a sadist or a villain, which is very interesting. They're kind of shedding new lights on action heroes. The film's story was great. Its energy, its ingenuity. Some people called it a mess. Its ending didn't provide a proper resolution for the main character. I mean, it kind of did. It is a franchise, though, so you kind of got to keep that in mind. They didn't know that at the time of the reviews. Stallone's training and survival skills and hand-to-hand combat gave the film a raw and authentic edge that excited the audiences at the time. This was probably one of the better action films of the 80s. It's one of the better. It's definitely. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at someone for putting this in their best movies ever. Rotten Tomatoes, 86% approval, 49 reviews, 7.2 out of 10. Much darker and more sensitive than the sequels it's spawned. First Blood is a thrilling survival adventure that takes full advantage of Sylvester Stallone's acting skills. Yeah, Stallone is just an absolute staple in the action universe, so yeah, it's great that he's really being utilized here. 6.1 out of 10 on Metacritic, 15 critics. Generally favorable. People generally like the movie on their part. The film's a tense and effective piece of filmmaking. The film's darker tone, somber subtext, not exploitative violence. Those 3 things really allowed the viewer to enjoy the film not only as an action thriller, but as something with a degree of intelligence and substance and kind of drama to it. Like kind of psychological drama. It seems impossible to imagine anyone other than Stallone in the part, and his capabilities as an actor should not be dismissed. He's amazing. 1.5 out of 4 stars by Movie Guide. Some people say that there was all credibility to the winds about the time Rambo gets off with only a bad cut after jumping from a mountain and some ragged rocks. He did hit a fucking tree beforehand, but I digress. I mean, obviously the movie's going to have some non-realistic, plot-convenient type of devices interwoven into it. That's just how movies are. I mean, that's a normal thing. So I can't really get mad at that, but yeah, it's cheesy TV. I am out. Thank you guys for watching. This Friday, Tyler, the Creator, is dropping. I don't know if I'm going to do an edited video. It kind of depends on how many tracks he drops for that project. But yeah, definitely, maybe, I feel like you should expect one. I think he's going to drop a decent amount of tracks. Hopefully he drops like 10, but if he drops like 5 or 6, I'll still do a reaction. Albums are coming in hot, and if he drops 10 tracks, I might just count this as an album of the year candidate, like for real. But leave a like, comment, subscribe. GZTV is always giving you guys all the movie review content. I gotta get going. I got class here in like 25 minutes, so I still gotta drive there and whatnot. So